Welcome, guys, to another episode of From the Root to the Fruit. I'm your host, Jay Smith. I appreciate you joining us. Today's guest is one of the most honorable dudes that I know. Just was straight up with you, tell you exactly how it is. One of the many things that he is most proud of about his life is genuinely growing up to become the man that his parents envisioned and raised him to be. Uh, Married, has 4 sons. I cannot wait to get on here and kind of get on his nerves a little bit and ask all the questions that I'm sure he has some trepidation in answering. But we're going to climb right in and find out a little bit more. With no further ado, my next guest, Mr. Andral Ford. My man, Andral Ford, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, brother.
I really, like I said, man, I think you're just dope. Like I really do. Take me back. You're growing up. Always West Coast?
Nah, not always. Grew up born in Dallas, Texas, Parkland Hospital, where my mom worked. Actually grew up in the Oak Cliff section of South Dallas. Everybody knows where Oak Cliff is. Kind of rough. I think when me and my sister were younger, Oak Cliff started getting really bad. We witnessed some things that my father would wish we otherwise hadn't witnessed. And I think by the second grade, he was like, "We're getting the fuck up out of here. We're heading to Cali." And so that's what we did. And when we got to Cali, we basically moved to the pretty much widest section of San Jose, which was Willow Glen, a very upscale area. They wanted to make sure we went to the best schools and be around the best people. The experiences weren't always the best, being, the few black people in the area, but it is what it is. But I think they did the best that they could. And I think it worked out for the best.
Oh yeah. And I'm not gonna mess with you about being a Cowboys fan. I understand this is a different. This isn't for that. I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna hit you with that. I give you enough grief on a regular basis.
Bruh, after every game, I gotta listen to your shit.
I just wanted to know if you were watching. That's all. That's the only reason that I reach out. I just want to make sure that I know that you were watching too.
Always. I suffer through every game. Wholeheartedly suffer.
Oh man.
Thanks Jerry Jones for my my displeasure.
Yeah, no kidding. Mm-hmm. You said your dad wanted to move you guys out of that bad situation and created a different type of situation, right? Like it was better in a lot of ways, and you made mention of it that there were some drawbacks that kind of speak to both of those.
Oh yeah, so it was better. Me and my sister definitely had a better education. The schools were probably one of the best in the nation. But it was also, not being around your people, suffering through some racial disparities, so to speak, to where, we'd be walking down the street and we get the N word dropped on us, just out of somebody's window. And it's like, what the fuck? I mean, we didn't get we didn't get too much of that, in Dallas, because, it was pretty segregated. So we didn't get we didn't see too many white people in Oak Cliff. But it was different. It was a lot to deal with, but San Jose started getting really big. A lot more black people started moving in, and it was actually pretty diverse. I think by the time I got to junior high, so I mean, it was what it was. It was actually one of the first schools in the area or sections in the area that we lived in that they actually started doing integrated busing.
Okay.
At that time, it was interesting because Willow Glen was a school that was mostly white, and they were trying to bus a lot of Hispanics from a different area over to the school to integrate the school a little bit more.
Okay.
That got met with a lot of pushback, and you hear rumblings in the hall. Exactly. Rumblings in the hall. You even hear teachers talking some shit. We didn't get bused in because we lived in the area, but we understood. We
Oh
understood
yeah.
the lingo. We understood some of the choice words that would be spoken between teachers and faculties and students. But, I think it worked out for the best, to tell you the truth. I think it worked out for the best. But got into some fights. I think I got into my first fist fight in middle school. Some, white cat was throwing fucking staples into my afro.
Just let me touch your hair. Let me touch your hair.
No, he was throwing staples behind me, and I didn't even know what the hell was going on. My teacher actually was just like, "What the hell's going on back there?" To this kid, I can't even remember his name. I think his name was Seth or some shit like that. And like, he's back here throwing staples into your hair, and I like reached back, had like a pound of damn staples into my damn hair, and I was picking them out, and I was like, cool, Right after the bell rang, I followed Seth to his locker, and I put that I laid some old Negro spirituals on him.
Sometimes you got to put them hymns. You got to have them hymns.
Oh, yeah.
You got to, you got to put them hymns on people. Make sure they understand.
Mm-hmm. with the old slave movies, I had to lay some of them on them. But yeah, and of course they called the parents. All my dad wanted to know is what happened. Told him what happened. Did you beat his ass?
Did you win?
I did.
Did you win?
Good. Come on home, son. And that was the end of that. I really didn't have any problems after that at school.
It's crazy how that works.
Yeah,
as much. I'm not pro violence or anything like that, but sometimes when somebody chooses you, making sure that them and onlookers understand that I'm not to be picked in this choosing.
Yeah, most people don't get the notion of fuck around and find out, but
yes, sir.
I think that started back in the 80s, with me. So
yes, sir.
You found out.
So have you where was your college experience? Where you were out of high school and everything like that? Where was your college experience?
San Jose. I went to San Jose City College, and then a little bit of San Jose State, but I didn't finish my college education, unfortunately. Around that time, my dad started getting sick.
Okay.
And so I was like, I kind of got sidetracked. You know what I mean? I wasn't focused. So I just put everything into work, into home, and, hoping my dad would get better.
And through our conversations, you and I off camera, I feel like your dad was a lot like mine, where my role in my home is exactly the same, where the buck stopped there. That's how it was. That's how it is. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room. We can talk,
right?
But you heard what I said.
And that's when we first met. That's kind of what drew me to you when we first having conversations about our upbringing and our fathers, and how our fathers were, they were pretty much just, a strong figure. They were, they were, you took what you got, basically.
Yes.
Law was hard to swallow, but damn it, you was gonna swallow it.
Yes.
And so my dad was he was loved him to death. He was an easy cat to talk to. You pretty much tell my dad anything because he's been through so much shit that nothing phases him. I could have went in the house and be like, what you doing today, boy? Oh, I just, killed 2 motherfuckers down the street, but I'm cool. Oh, yeah? What'd you do with the bodies? That was him. So he was just that dude that you could just come tell anything to. But yeah, his law was his law. He had this thing he would tell you, even when I'm wrong, I'm right. And that was it.
That's it. That there's no, and that's what I mean. Like there's no conversation after right there.
No. Yeah, he was a good listener. He would hear you, but after you were done pleading your case or doing whatever you needed to do, after he made his decision, there was no more talking about it. That was it.
That's it. The tell me, we don't have these conversations, and you're free. Like, tell me about your mom. I know your sister. Tell me about your mom and kind of the role in the house and how that went.
My mom was, she was the quiet, really loving type, but you could tell she had this strength about her to where my dad even knew, like, she wasn't to be the one to be played with. Like, we'd try to play around and goof off with my mom, and she didn't do a lot of playing around. She'd be like, play with your daddy. And my dad was the one to play with. But she had this quiet strength to where, if we was doing something stupid or acting a fool, all she would have to do was give my dad a look. And that was it. He was the enforcer.
Whole channel. Yes, shut down.
Yeah, he was the enforcer. She was a shot caller. So it was just like, that was it. But a real loving, real kind, gentle woman, you know what I mean? It was just like, she was the spirit of the house. You know what I mean? She was just like real. I think I get most of my personality from her. So I'm real chill, you know what I mean? Real.
I was about to say that, like, it's tough to get you off. I've never seen you like upset, but
right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, what still waters run deep. Like, I've always known, like, okay,
right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, very few people have seen me, to that point, and I think my wife has seen it, and she knows exactly what to do. She'll just look at me in my face and say, "Look at me, concentrate on me, and that kind of works." But yeah, she's seen it before. My sister's seen it, of course, and I know my parents seen it, but not a lot of people seen it. And if you did see it, then you knew you fucked around and made a mistake.
It's about to be serious business. Yeah. You have, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have 4 boys?
Yes, sir.
4 boys. Tell me some of the lessons, right? Like, we as men of color, and we move in different spaces and have to create spaces in some situations.
Oh yeah.
How to teaching them how to move and more or less, like, how to be men. Tell me a little bit about, like, your approach to
that. With 4 boys, there wasn't a playbook. You know what I mean? I mean, it worked with us because we're from an older generation.
Yes.
And I mean, your parent can pretty much raise all the kids the same way, but with information age, kids being more knowledgeable, the kids knowing shit like CPS or police or shit like that. You had to
I wish you would bring that up at my house. Say, they'll catch it too. You try. 2 things got to happen for you to execute that. 1, you got to make it to the phone. That's it.
One of them was like, I'm gonna call the police on you. I'm like, cool. When I get out of jail, I got a home to come to. Where you gonna go?
Just like that. Good gracious. Shout out to all the moms out there that keep moms and dads that keep these young men in line. I'm telling you now.
Right. It's tough because they get to the age where where my dad used to say, hell, Rich probably even said it, where they start smelling their piss and thinking they can buck up or whatever. But it's I don't know, it's a slippery slope. It's slippery slope because each one of them has different personalities, so you got to come at them, each one of them, differently and still maintain, your center and your personality and your strength. And you kind of got to just break it down and figure out what their strengths are. Right. You got to come at them like that. Be like, you know what? This is the world you're dealing with. Okay, you guys are all young Black males. This is the world you're dealing with. This is how they view you. Doesn't necessarily mean this is how you have to be, but this is how they view you. So you have to be yourself, okay? Not look at yourself through the lens of the world. You gotta look at yourself how you want yourself to be.
Right.
And gotta try to reach the highest point of whatever, you wanna be in life and strive to be that. Don't take any shorts, and definitely don't take handouts. Work for what you want. Respect is earned. It is never given. If somebody doesn't give you respect, they do not value you. Okay, so work off your own value, build your own self-worth, work off of that, and only deal with people that you feel respect your currency. And that's
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Hell, we turn this off right now. Shit, that's good.
And always, you have to always be that dude that brings something to the table. You can never, you just have to have something. Build some substance, bring something to the table. Don't let anybody else think that they can build upon you. You know what I mean?
That's it.
So you shouldn't have to find no female that's gonna help put you together. It's
right, and that's I feel like that's one of the number one struggles, right? Like like I'm not a project.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm under construction. That's why I go to church. I'm under construction, but
right.
Like I'm not a project to be solved or a puzzle or whatever. So I dig that. I dig that.
Exactly. Because if you have any issues, that's your job. It's not anybody else's. Because who's to say once they're done building you or fixing you,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna be the person you want to be. That's just the person you want. They're gonna want you to be, and that's not you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I would be remiss, and I know I will get touched up myself if I didn't let you talk about the boss. If I got to talk about the boss,
boss lady. Oh yeah, my queen D. Oh yeah, she's And what's funny about her is, like, in so many ways she has strengths in her that I don't think she even recognizes. She holds a lot together, man. She is that foundation, you know what I mean, that every dude should actually look for in a wife, you know what I mean? This is just grounded, smart, funny, beautiful, and passionate, and and a smart ass. She's a smart ass.
She'll put them hands on you too now. I don't, I'm not putting nobody, I don't see, here's the line that I have to walk. I'm hosting the joint, so I don't want to, but I feel I can't, like I love Tanya. Those my people. Y'all family to me, but she will let you know what those office hours are immediately.
9 to 5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If anybody don't know the office hours, go watch 5 Heartbeats.
Yes, sir. Shout out Robert Townsend.
Right on. Me and Jay been talking about office hours for years. They know your office hours.
Make sure. Because you people try you, dude.
Oh yeah. No. But I do have to bring something up though, bruh.
Hit me.
And this has been bothering me for many, many years. And I think I'm gonna have to, set it straight with you. But I don't appreciate all the ass whoopings you was passing out to me on Madden, bro.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't.
I'm just saying I've been holding it in, and I actually been wanting to fly up to Washington to do slap boxing competitions.
I got you.
From the whoopings, because like when we first came out, and it was interesting your gameplay. I whooped you a couple times, and what caught me off guard was how you adjusted to my gameplay quickly. You let me beat you a couple times, and then then you come back. You be like, oh, okay. Like every Sunday after we watch football, throw them Madden. And then you started putting whoopers on me, and getting the championship belt shit out and talking about you got a trophy. I think you even had one made one year.
I did. Yep, I did. It's still in the living room right now. Like, yep. It's still.
You dust that motherfucker off every day too, don't you?
Not every day. I don't believe dust accumulates in my home that way. But I make sure that it sees me like my children see me every day. Like I make sure that it understands who it's an ownership thing. I get it. It might be a little foreign. I get it.
Yeah. So disrespectful. It was so disrespectful. I'm like, how did you adjust to my gameplay that quick? And I know you absolutely hate to lose. Okay.
More than I will ever like to win, ever.
So multiply your hate to lose by 1,000, and that's where you see me. And so, yeah, I wanted 7 and on the way out the door when you would walk out about, with Don talking about, you still got the championship belt, babe, kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I
Wow.
wanted to stab you a few times, but you're my brother.
I respect that. Hey, hey, home team all the way. I'm not, but here's the thing that, and you're not alone. You're not alone. I haven't come up with a support group for you guys or anything, but you're not alone. Like, I get it. Is I want you. And for those of you that don't know, I compete for your pride and your soul. I want you to never want to do it again. It's not like you never want to play me again. That's silly. Anybody can do that. I want you to never, anytime someone brings the game up or the event, if it's an event, if it's a whatever, anytime somebody says it, I want you to get PTSD about it because you remember me and then want to put your hands on them for even putting you in that space. That is different.
Yeah, you be going for blood. I mean, it'll be fucking 7-55 and shit, and you'll still be throwing Hail Marys. I mean, just it's pitiful for sure, pitiful.
I appreciate
I had to get that off my chest. And brothers, we all chat in the group. So the brothers is, Taiwan will be, still at you, So I did get it Taiwan one time though. I whooped his ass.
See, you see it, and how good did that make you feel?
It made me feel good. I tried to be, prideful. I'd be like, you know what, it just wasn't his day. And of course, your ass was just like, nah, man.
I'll let nothing go.
That
Hey, and I'll cook. I'll cook for a paragraph. I'll keep skipping rocks. It does not matter to me. I want you to feel terrible. If you decided to compete, I want you to feel terrible. I want you to feel terrible because you were. This is an energy thing. Like if you were talking trash before,
right?
Don't get quiet now. Don't you dare get quiet now. In his holy name, don't you dare get quiet now. You better keep that same energy with me now.
You'd be out for blood. You'd be like, how dare you even pick up the sticks?
Yes, take your batteries out and get permission slips at your house because you can't play. I refuse to let you play. Even if you're not playing me, you got to text me to get permission at your house to play your game. That's what I want. That's what I get out for.
Oh,
but no, how has your upbringing kind of developed the way that you relationship with your wife?
That's a damn good question because my parents were pretty affectionate and they were married forever. So marriage to me is final. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It should last. Divorce shouldn't be an easy conversation. It shouldn't be brought up in arguments kind of thing with me.
Oh no.
Because it's pretty detrimental that I think marriage is forever. I'm not Catholic or anything like that. It's not a religious thing. It's just something that that's just instilled in me. Most of the people in my family is, they were married forever. And don't get me wrong, if some bullshit is going down, somebody beating on somebody, nobody should stay in a marriage that they don't feel that they're not appreciated in. But one thing my parents told me is marriage is work. You know what I mean? Don't think that love is going to fulfill and keep everything together. It's work. I mean, and it is. They were not bullshitting. Marriage is hard fucking work, but if you're there for the right reasons with the right person, then why not work at it? Why not put everything into it that you would put into anything else? I mean, marriage is that shit. Marriage is the bullshit. Marriage is hell. Marriage is heaven. Marriage is everything. I mean, pretty much everything you're gonna deal with in life, you're gonna deal with in marriage. But you just gotta want to be in it. You got to want to be passionate about it. You got to want to work for it. And we work every day. I mean, like any and everything you can do it. I mean, whether it be therapy, making sure you reflect on what it is that got you to where you were. Reflect on, your honeymoon phase, reflect on the wedding day, any and everything you can use to empower you to try to stay together, to try to fulfill, whatever promises you made at the beginning of a relationship. Do that shit because it works.
Well, that and for me, it was the same thing. Like my wife and I, Dawn,
Yes.
we affectionately refer to it like we're in a gang. Like it's blood in, blood out
Blood
over
in,
here.
blood out.
So, which like that's just what it is. But you're right. It's learning at an early age that love is a verb.
Yeah.
And like you have to, now you said it, now you have to do things that subsequently prove it. So
exactly.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah. And trust me, man, it's hard to be that. It's hard to be that, because before I met my wife, shit, I wasn't shit. I mean, I was lazy, I didn't have no patience. I didn't have no patience for even remotely think about love. But shit, I had on my track shoes chasing after her for years. So got her, married her up, and shit, it's been 16 years. But yeah,
nice.
And yeah, she's about as patient with me as she should, more than she should. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a definitely she's worth all the hard work, and I hope I'm just as worth it as she is.
Shout out Tanya. Shout out. I would be upset with myself if I didn't ask you why you threw that draw 4 when we came down for Thanksgiving. When we came down to San Francisco. I just want to know. I mean, we on here, and I want to know. You saw I had Uno. You threw the draw 4. I just want to talk about that, and then my wife won, so you ain't even getting nothing out of it. So I just want to know, from me and the people, we're gonna put it on wax. I want to know why you threw the draw 4. You ain't even have to.
I didn't, and I wasn't gonna win for shit that game. There was no possible way for me to win in that game. I just didn't want you to win, sir. See, that's what kind of hater I am. I did not want you to win because I was thinking about Madden. I was thinking about all the shit talking.
The traumas I put you through. I get it.
All the traumas. And, I was thinking about all that. And you're the shit talking his brother when you win. So I just did not want you to win. So I'm just like, shit, I don't mind Dawn winning, She talk a little shit, but she ain't know with my ass in Madden, so.
That's, yeah. It's like there's levels to this. I'm done with
Like Don cool. Hell, she bakes the best shit. Hell, the best cakes on shit in the nation. Shit, I'm like,
facts.
I'm straight. Don cool. I mean, they don't make me shit. All he did was whip my ass in Madden and then talk shit about it for how long we've been on each other for 15 years. Talk shit about it for 15 years.
Yep. Every chance I get, every chance. Sometimes I let it go, and then I'll pick it right back up because couldn't let that go.
I get you talk to you. I could be like, man, did you see that ass whooping the Lakers put on so and so? Oh, you mean that ass whooping you got from Madden in fucking 2010? I mean, really, Negro? Really? I'm talking about actual professional basketball.
Me too. We both talking. We saying the same thing. It just sound different. So. I want to hit up your advocacy. Like since I met you, like you've always been very pro equality, pro people of color being shouted out, like from the root, like the music, whatever it is. Like I want to, where did that come from? Not necessarily the pride. Obviously, you're proud of where you come from and everything like that. Like just the intensity, like the like it's a level of immediacy for you that I rarely see anymore. And I want to hear the reasoning or the causality for that.
Okay. Yeah, it was like stuff that my dad used to break down to me back in the days, like just little jewels he used to drop on me that I didn't really appreciate at the time that he would drop them on me, because I was probably in grade school, elementary school. But he'd break down like little books and stuff, or you know what I mean, that I didn't actually really get until probably I got to high school and I actually started reading them. Like Malcolm X and Spook Who Sat by the Door, or Man Child in the Promised Land, or a nigga by Dick Gregory. It was just a whole bunch of books he would just spit out there. You know what I mean? To see if I wanted to get that low hanging fruit. I mean, he wasn't really forcing anything on me. He was, I think, dropping jewels out there to see if I'd pick them up. And that's pretty much where it stemmed from. That and just shit, shit that you see. I mean, you can't be a black man in this world or society or whatever and not see some cause that you're fighting, because we're fighting it every day. And like James Baldwin put, you can't be a black man in this society without actually being angry about some shit every day. So, I mean, that wasn't verbatim, but that's pretty much what he said. And so it was knowledge is power, man. I was just reading shit, listening to the kind of music I was listening to. Shit, I was listening to Public Enemy, listening to Paris. Shit, I was even going back and listening to Gil Scott-Heron, Last Poets, the Watts Poets. Just building and just hanging out with cats that had the same ideology. Hell, I was almost even a 5%er at one time, but I never went full effect. But just breaking books, reading history, hell, watching the movies, just chasing it, because it was stuff that they wasn't teaching us in high school. So we had to go get it. And, black bookstores. Hell, I used to go to Marcus bookstores over in Oakland, hell, on a weekly basis. Hell, couldn't even afford it, but I was buying stuff I couldn't afford. And just breaking it down, and just the quality is huge. I mean, no matter who you're with, hell, gay equality, black equality, female equality. I mean, I'm down for all of it. Everybody needs to get a piece of this American dream and be able to get life, love, pursuit of happiness equally. I mean, it's at this day and age, we got a lot of people that, still chatting by with the, oh, well, I'm not racist kind of thing, but that's not good enough anymore. You got the only acceptable form of any type of protest or freedom is anti-racism. If you're not anti-racism, anti-sexist, anything of that matter, then it's not good enough anymore, and we don't need you in this battle with us. It means you don't want to fight. It means you don't want the change.
And that's 100% the truth. One of the catalysts for me when I was younger, my grandfather was a Baptist preacher, and he went to churches all over the South and everything like that. And one of the churches, it was a white church, and they had him speak. He did the whole thing, and usually they feed you after. That's just that's how that deal went.
Oh yeah,
but we were I was just standing there right beside him, and we're at the fellowship hall after the thing, and he said, one of the assistant ministers, who's a white guy, he's basically a joke. He's like, you know how to hide something from a black man? Where the best place to hide something from a black man is? And of course my grandfather was like, no, get to the punchline. I see where this is going, kind of thing. And he was like, you hide it in a book. And he starts dying laughing. My grandfather hit him with the ice grill, and then we left. But that entire ride home, I'll never forget. He was like, you hear what do you hear how they see you
Yep.
before you even get a chance to talk. He was
That's
like, I preached in the space and everything else. He was like, and still he thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do now? And oh wow. And that was my first book was that I can recall that I chose to read was Little Boy Black.
Yes.
I'm with you though, but and it's not always that intense and whatever, but boy, when I tell you it's got a low register some days.
Man, the standard drops.
Yes. And it's crazy and it's unfortunate and whether the next wave and your boys and my kids and tons of other people that are now activated and they get it and they understand it and they won't stand for it. Like this new generation is not having it.
and that's a fact, bro, because it was like everything is front now. You know what I mean? Everything is posted. I mean, everything is viral. You know, everything is on the news. There's not a lot you can hide nowadays. So, I mean, people see shit for what it is. I mean, it is what it is. And now you have the choice to choose, you know, I wonder what I think about that and how I'm going to carry it out. There was days when, you know, it wasn't quite that clear for everybody. Right. You know what I mean? Like, hell, police brutality. I mean, white people didn't know police brutality was as bad as it was shit until now. I mean, even after seeing Rodney King.
I'm like, they whooped his ass in 93, 92 or something.
Yeah. I mean, we whooped his ass, and they still had the privilege of thinking that was an isolated incident.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, that was the thing that got me. It was like, you think they would whoop his ass like that for that long? And that would be an isolated incident? No, that shit happens all the time. I mean,
and Rodney didn't help us or him being hopped up on everything.
No, not at all. that didn't, and you know, speed in the Hyundai.
You grown. How you gonna be in a Hyundai?
But yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, and you know, to be fair, I mean, no matter what he was doing, he didn't deserve an ass whooping like that. And but yeah, the times have definitely escalated, so to speak, to where everybody's pretty much caught up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not making the right decisions with the information they have. I mean, some people are still like have this like weird like disposition to where they think that there's a certain type of criminality when it comes to Black people, to where one of them getting shot is maybe he deserved it kind of thing. When
yes.
You know, because
what did he do? They need to let the tape run. What did he have for breakfast? Right. I know it happened at 7:30 in the evening, but what did he have for breakfast?
Right. And you know, they'll post a picture of him throwing up a gang sign and shit, and it's see, there it goes. You know, that's why he deserved to get shot. And it's like, no, that's not how that works.
No,
you're supposed to be even killed for what you think they are.
And that's the thing too. Where we were talking about equality, like. My thing is the definition of equality for me, I don't know if Webster's is in agreement, but for me is you can do whatever the fuck you want to do and I can do whatever I want to do. That, by definition, is equal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and, you know, having the same consequences.
Right. Like how is it If I steal some milk or I take somebody's property,
exactly,
take me to jail. I have an expectation of that. It shouldn't become something completely and separate because you just don't like me,
right?
Or people that look like me, or whatever the case may be.
I shouldn't be killed over a carton of milk because you don't know how to de-escalate or do your job.
Yes. Yes, and I have to wear a lanyard that says I have mental illness
Exactly.
or whatever. Like you have to
Hmm.
have all your stuff, like we're in when you're in kindergarten the first day, and they paper clip the shit to your jacket to make sure you don't
Right.
get lost. Like I feel like
Right.
that some days. Like
Exactly. Like you're supposed to be a professional, but but it is what it is. I mean, training definitely needed. Police force, de-escalation tactics. I mean, police officers shouldn't be definitely shouldn't be put out of his element because he's mad or somebody hurts his feelings or somebody's looking at him crazy or
right,
shit like that. Just gonna get him to pull his side piece and blow somebody to their maker. It doesn't make any sense to me.
agree, firmly agree.
Mm.
The one of the questions I had for you, I know all of your boys played sports.
Yes.
The I affectionately call him Satchel Paige. The baby is cooking. So I want to have a conversation with you. I know he goes. You guys do. It's a similar deal where kind of listening to how you grew up. It makes more sense to me that your youngest is in private school or Catholic school.
He was in private school, private Christian school.
Okay,
Now
yeah.
he's going to a charter school. But yeah, he all of his life up until high school he was in private schools.
Okay. What has that experience been? And for those that obviously don't know, he's a baseball player. So
Mm-hmm.
this kind of gets congruent because I know for me it's not a lot of when I turn on Major League Baseball when I'm on my way to another sport. Uh, when I turn it on,
Right.
I'm trying. I don't see very many guys that look like me
Right.
out there on the diamond. So I'm
Right.
is that what was his exposure levels to baseball that he fell in love with?
Um yeah, we were to answer your first question, the private school thing. We just I mean, we're living in California. I mean, the public schools is just I mean, they're probably the worst in the nation. And we were like, you know what, we need to change the script here and go ahead and try private school. We actually started private school up in Washington because the Washington public schools weren't the best either to where we were at for elementary school, and so we thought we'd give it a try. Classrooms were smaller. We figured the learning environment would be better, and that's what we did, and it worked out really well for him because he's a scholar and he's a hell of an athlete. With him, we tried quite a few sports. He played soccer, which he was pretty good at. And one day, I think me and my wife were at the flea market or something, and we seen a bunch of baseball bats and stuff like that. And dude, like, hell, take all of them for $15. And we did. Took them home. I had a tee out there, gave him a bat, and I seen it swing, and I was like, oh shit, we might actually have one that actually likes baseball. Older boys that like baseball. They were football players, which was cool with me. I played football. But I actually love baseball. I think I was a better baseball player in high school and growing up than I was a football player. But none of my black friends play football or baseball. So
Right.
so football was the game for me. And my dad loved football. We used to go to Giants games all the time when I was a kid. But I finally found one that took the baseball, and I was like, oh, shit, cool. And shit, he loved it, man. As soon as he got that bat in his hand, he was just swinging for the fences, and that was the one sport that he was just like genuinely in love with. And we weren't really feeling football at the time because of all the weird injuries and the concussion things was scaring us.
Yep.
We just like kind of veered away from that. Even these damn coaches is eyeballing them and calling him and trying to get him to come out and play because of his size. Because I don't know, you ain't seen him lately, bro, but he's 6'3".
And for the record, I watched a video of who I thought was you working out
Mm-hmm.
at the joint, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, Andral is moving. He okay." let me get the Peloton. Order the Peloton. Get something over here. Let me get situated.
Shit,
And then
no,
it was him. I'm like, good God Almighty.
That was that big ass walking around the house looking at me like I'm short. But,
we need some milk.
yeah, talking about excuse me, with all bass. I'm like, but take the bass out your voice, boy. You bigger than me.
All this furniture you see in here, all of it can move.
Shit, but yeah, man, it's been a journey. And baseball, it's interesting because, like you said, baseball, you don't see a lot of us in it. A lot of American Black people. You'll see a lot of like Latino, like.
Oh, they'll get a Puerto. Yeah, they'll get Dominican dudes.
Oh, yeah.
They are deep. They deep, but they 30. They 30 getting going to high school up here.
Yeah, them cats can ball, but yeah, it's like I think baseball is still one of those sports that's seen as an elitist sport, and it is expensive, especially if you want your kid to have the best opportunities. Because we did travel ball. Travel ball is expensive. You're paying probably thousands of dollars annually, for your kid to be part of that, and then kind of, with the socioeconomic inequalities amongst the races, Black people, don't really get the privilege of taking part of that. Me and my wife do pretty well, so we're actually able to put him in travel ball, which he loved, and you still get some of the little racist politics things going on with it. But for the most part, it's been pretty cool. But they do kind of little snobbery going. A little snobbery going on that you see a lot of that would turn a lot of people off if they had to deal with it. But me and my wife are pretty strong people. We face everything face forward. If anybody has a problem with it, they know our office hours.
Oh yes, sir. And plus, y'all got all them bats. I know. Little man. I feel like Tanya's swing's still a little nasty, so I'm not concerned whatsoever.
Right. So yeah, we've had some dealings with people that would say a little snide shit or stuff like that. But we soldiered on, so to speak, and did our thing. But yeah, you really don't. I think Amari's, hell, even his high school baseball team, I mean, this is the whole 9th through 12th grade, might have 3 Black players.
Right.
On the whole baseball staff. So, but that's the nature of the beast. So we're dealing with it.
I love it. They did a 30 for 30 about Tanya Harding. So people got to get touched up. People got to get touched up.
Hey, we got space and opportunity.
So,
like I said, just fuck around and find out.
Oh man, that's awesome. What you made mention of like your upbringing. I want to know if that's a direct reflection of what you do now. For those of you that like your social work and everything like that. Like, I feel like all these things are kind of just interwoven into the person that you are.
I think so. I think the social spectrum is something that I kind of fell into. I was mostly working in corporate America for most of my life, but it's something that I fell into, and because I was having a hard time understanding, like, stuff like homelessness, drug abuse, things of that nature, and being in the social sector, it really helped me understand that we have a really fucked up system that doesn't really cater to the needs of, say, drug addicts. We have like the worst medical infrastructure, so to speak, to handle things like any type of drug epidemic. Like, and I was trying to explain to a young person I was talking to the other day, like, and they were talking about how homelessness was so bad. I'm like, the direct correlation between homelessness and drug addiction and mental health is a big impact. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, you don't really find any normal families who are just suffering from financial hardship homeless. I mean,
Right.
you never see it. It always has to do with either drug addiction, mental health, or somebody that's been abused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That find themselves in that situation. I mean, and if you see things like that, then you definitely want to be a part of it. It is hard because a lot of stuff you want to take home, but you have to have the disposition and the mental aptitude, so to speak, to be able to separate the two. And I think I do have that because I could definitely leave shit at work. And I'm not, my wife would tell you, she thinks I'm like, as hard as they come and just, I could like be like,
I'm a co-sign that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a co-sign that one.
my wife think I could just cut shit off in a minute and be like, fuck you, kind of thing. But I mean, shut up, Jay. But yeah, I mean, I like the aspect of being able to be a part of that. But I know well enough not to, give my whole self to that because I still got a piece of me to give to my family. So
For sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that's it.
What?
I feel like that's it, man. Like it talk about an introspection. Dude, like for real, I appreciate you coming on. I get it. You told me like 8 things that I didn't even know.
Oh shit. Okay.
And I really dig that.
I want to talk about your cabinet back there. It looks like a medicine cabinet in a horror movie. What's going on back there?
Because it is. That some of these things help me sleep.
Yeah. You got people laying on the floor at your feet that I can't see.
I could not tell you that, sir, even if I wanted to.
The FBI knocking at your door.
I know 3 FBI agents in my personal circle as well. So I cannot confirm nor deny that particular information.
That's funny.
This has been another episode of From the Root to the Fruit. I've been Jay Smith. Andral Ford, thank you very much, brother.
No problem, brother.
You guys make sure if you make sure if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a ton. We will see you next time. Cheers.
No doubt. Later.